Welcome to Lesson 18, Part 1. We're multiplying by one digit using an area model. That's pages 47 and 48. So here, Lesson 18, multiplying by one digit using an area model. Our content objective, 4.NBT.B.5, so 4th grade, numbers base 10, B5. I can multiply a whole number up to 4 digits by a one-digit whole number. 4.OA.A.3, so 4th grade, operations algebraic thinking. I can determine how reasonable my answers are by using estimation. Language objective. I can use vocabulary related to multiplication to explain how to multiply multi-digit numbers. Social objective. I can work with others to create a model to prove the solution to the multiplication problem. So we have 3 vocabulary words here. First, distributive property of multiplication. Multiply a sum by multiplying each add-in separately and then adding the products. So here, A times B plus C equals A times B plus A times C. So instead of doing 10 times 14, because 5 plus 9 is 14, you could do 10 times 5 plus 10 times 9. So 50 plus 90 is 140. Partial product. The value of each factor is multiplied separately. So you get part of the products that you then have to add together to get the final product. And then area model. A model showing each place value product. The smaller arrays can be used to find unknown facts or calculate mentally. So we did the rectangular array. Now we're going to do something similar but without the drawings. We're going to use that box to just use our distributive property and find our partial products. So here 2 times 12, we're going to break that 12 up into its expanded form of 10 plus 2. So then we're going to do 2 times 10 plus 2 times 2 and get the total amount. Okay, so now we're looking at this distributive property. 5 times 86. Well, we're going to break apart that 86 in its expanded form of 80 plus 6. So we're going to do 5 times 80 and then 5 times 6. 5 times 80 is 400. 5 times 6 is 30. Add those together and we get 430. So when we're using our area model, we are using the distributive property. 7 times 45. Well, we break up that 45 into 40 plus 5. So we do 7 times 40 and then 7 times 5. Well, 7 times 40, the placeholder moves it over a place. And then it's just 7 times 4, which is 28. And then 7 times 5 is 35. Those are our partial products. Once we add them together, that's a plus sign, we'll get our final product. Well, it takes 20 more to get to 300. So if I take 20 from here and give it here, I'm left with 15. So then I get 315. So 3 times 92, I'm going to break apart that 92 in its expanded form. 90 plus 2. So I'm going to do 3 times 90 plus 3 times 2. That's the distributive property. We distribute it to all parts. 3 times 90, well, the placeholder moves it over a place. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 2 is 6. 270 plus 6 is 276. So we're doing the distributive property in these area models, but as you see when we go through, it'll be a little easier to keep track of the parts of those partial products to then add together. Right, so here is our area model. We're going to start with 17 times 5. We're not going to break apart the 5, we'll break apart the 17 in its expanded form. So it's 10 plus 7. 17 is made up of 1 10 and 7 ones. And we're going to multiply by 5. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 7 is 35. So we get these partial products. 50 plus 35, which gives us a final product of 85. Okay, so that is our area model. We put it in the areas. It's similar to a multiplication chart, where whatever number here in this column gets multiplied to what is in that row. It's just they're not necessarily in order. All right, so now we're going to break this apart in its expanded form. So we have 300, 300s, 2 10s, which is 20, and 4 1s. And our multiplier is 5. 5 times 300, well, it has 2 placeholders, so it's going to move it over 2 places. And then 5 times 3 is 15. Starting from the ones, 1, 2, 3, comma. Because we go ones, tens, hundreds, comma. Ones, tens, hundreds, comma. 5 times 20, we have 1 placeholder that it will move it over a place. 5 times 2 is 10. And now we have 5 times 4, which is 20. So our partial products, 1,500 plus 100 more, so that's 1,600, plus 20 more, that will make 1,620 as our final product. So now with a number into the thousands. So we have 2,000, breaking that apart in its expanded form, 300s, 9 10s or 90, and 2 1s. And we're multiplying by 9. That's our multiplier. So I have 1, 2, 3 placeholders. We'll move it over 1, 2, 3 places. And 9 times 2 is 18. Ones, tens, hundreds, comma. Okay, now 9 times 300, 2 placeholders, moves it over 1, 2 places. 9 times 3 is 27. 1, 2, 3, comma, or ones, tens, hundreds, comma. 9 times 90, 1 placeholder. 9 times 9 is 81. Then 9 times 2 is 18. So these are called our partial products that we add together. So 18,000 plus 2,000 more would be 20,700 plus 810 more. So that would be 21,510 plus 18 more would be 21,510. 28. Of course, we could write it vertically to add. I just didn't have the room in my notes, but when we do our 3 column, you'll definitely see that. All right, now on to our estimating and practicing more when the area model is not given to you. You have to make it. So here we have 435 times 6. Well, our estimation, we take the larger factor. The larger factor is 435, and we're going to round that. So 435 is between 400 and 500. Halfway is 450. 435 is somewhere over here, so it's closer to 400. So 400 times 6. I have 2 placeholders, and 6 times 4 is 24. Ones, tens, hundreds, comma. So the estimate is 2,400. Now, since our number went down from 435 to 400, that means my estimate is going to be low. That means my actual product will be higher than 2,400, but should be pretty close. All right, now our area model. So we're multiplying by 6, and we need to break apart 400 and then 30 and then 5. So we put them above each box. And now we're going to multiply. 6 times 400. We have 2 placeholders, and 6 times 4 is 24. 1, 2, 3, comma. 6 times 30, I have 1 placeholder. 6 times 3 is 18. And then 6 times 5 is 30. So this time I have room here to be able to write it vertically to add. So I'm going to start with my first partial product, 2,400. And then I need to make sure I line up from the ones right there. So 0 ones, 8 tens, 100. The hundreds should be lined up. And then here I need to make sure I line up from the ones. 0 ones, 3 tens. 1, 2, 3 zeros makes 0. 0 plus 8 is 8, plus 3, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to regroup below. There's my 11. You may regroup above if you prefer. 4, 5, 6, and then 2, ones, tens, hundreds, comma. So is 2,610 close to 2,400? It is pretty close. I knew this would be higher, and it is higher, so it is reasonable. The product is 2,610. All right, so again, we're going to estimate our larger factor. Our larger factor is 1,093, so that's when we're going to round. It's between 1,000 and 2,000. Halfway between is 1,500. It's really close to 1,000. So that is our rounding number. And times 3, well, 3 times 1,000 is 3,000. So the estimate is 3,000. Now, it went down, not very far, but it did go down, so that means my estimate's going to be lower than the actual product, but it should be close to 3,000. Close but above. So our area model, our multiplier is 3, so that goes on the side there. We have 1,000. Then we have 0 hundredths. Now, do we need to actually multiply 0 hundredths? Because all we'd end up with is 0. If you want to, you can, but you don't need to, because a zero product property says when you multiply by 0, it's going to be a 0. So we don't need to do that. Let's move over to 90. And then 3. Three times 1,000. We have 1, 2, 3 placeholders. 3 times 1 is 3. Ones, tenths, hundredths, comma. 3 times 90, we have 1 placeholder. 3 times 9 is 27. And then finally 3 times 3 is 9. So we have our partial products here. We need to add together. So I put my first one down, 3,000, and then I want to make sure that I line up from the ones place. So this 0 goes under here in the ones. 7 tens goes in the tens place. 2 hundreds go in the hundreds place. And then here we line up from the ones, goes in the ones place. 0 plus 0 plus 9, 0 plus 7, 0 plus 2, and then 3, ones, tens, hundreds, comma. Remember, comma on the paper, not on the computer. Is that pretty close to 3,000? Yes. It is above, because I knew my estimate would be low, but it is pretty close, so it is reasonable. The product is 3,279. Okay, that's it for part 1. Now on to part 2 and your 3-column note.